So let's move here to Venezuela because I think this is actually a good segue because rather than trying to actually prevent crime, the Trump administration appears to be just committing crimes. We sent down this naval armada, it's nuclear-powered submarines to Venezuela, saber-rattled at Nicolas Maduro, Marco Rubio put a $50 million price on his head.
Have you seen your 50 million yet?
I haven't seen my 50 million, saying that he's the head of a narco-trafficking operation, then said that he runs Tren de Aragua, Venezuelan and U.S.-based gang.
Which they designate as a foreign terrorist organization. So this is how they're bringing Maduro, this is how they're going to justify it. We don't know yet, it's still early, but they designated Tren de Aragua a foreign terrorist organization, and then they sanctioned something called the Cartel of the Suns, and say that Maduro is, they say the Cartel of the Suns is providing material support to Tren de Aragua, and that Maduro controls Cartel of the Suns, which has been sanctioned. So this is how they're building the justification.
Yeah, and in order to get to that, they needed the intelligence community to say that this was not a total figment of our imagination. The intelligence community put out a report saying, sorry, this is a figment of your imagination. He does not run Tren de Aragua. This is false. Those people were then fired by Tulsi Gabbard for producing a report that did not align with the outcome that the Trump administration wanted. She then put people in place who would write the report that she wanted written to say that Tren de Aragua was actually this foreign terrorist organization under the control of Maduro, which, just use your common sense. If you are a government, do you need gangs? Like, if Robbie Suave were here, he would tell you, what is a government? It is a gang that has evolved into having a monopoly over violence. If you are the government, you are a basically regulated, empowered gang already. You don't then go and create new gangs. Like that's not in general how these things work. You create paramilitary organizations.
I think it's fair to call Tren de Aragua a
JSOC.
paramilitary organization, yeah.
So anyway, according to the IC, American intelligence community, this was bogus, fired those people, got a new report, said that actually, yes, Maduro does run Tren de Aragua. Now, the other problem for the administration's rationale here is Tren de Aragua is not primarily or even in the main, a narco-trafficking operation. Like, that's not their thing. There are some of their people involved in it, some ways, sure. But that's crucial to understanding what they did yesterday. So let's roll. What's the first one that we have here? Oh, this is the
administration released this.
A little dinghy rolling through the Caribbean. The laws of the sea here.
Just getting lit up if you're listening to this.
Yeah, would say that if you want to, and there's people getting burned alive, the laws of the sea here would say that if you believe that this ship in international waters is doing something that you don't like, as the Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, you can try to intercept them, you can try to stop them. You can't blow them out of the water without warning. You can't blow them out of the water if they're not a threat to you. You're obligated to try to stop them and board them, and if you think that they're trafficking in drugs, then board the ship and seize the drugs and interrogate the people. Because, again, use some common sense here. If they're serious about rolling up a drug trafficking operation, what's a better way to do it? Do you seize the drugs, interrogate the people, ask them where'd they get the drugs, and roll it up that way? Or do you use a $50 million missile to bomb every fishing boat that you think might have some drugs on it?
That's good business for Lockheed.
That's good business for Lockheed. I don't know if we have enough missiles to hit every single fishing boat that may or may not have drugs on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a really important point, obviously, and Ryan, you've covered this for years, but particularly in the Middle East. And this is now in our hemisphere. And obviously, there were Cold War conflicts in some of these very places where there were extrajudicial killings and all of that from the sort of fervent anti-communists in America and in some of these countries themselves. But we're getting support and aid from America. But this high-tech extrajudicial killing where I don't think it's confirmed whether it was a drone or a helicopter, that type of strike. And we can put this next element up on the screen. This is from Representative Kassar, who introduced an amendment to the NDAA Pentagon bill requiring Trump to follow the Constitution and War Powers Act, as this person on X puts it. The amendment simply says that Congress must vote before Trump sends our troops into danger in Venezuela as required by law. So getting to the point as to whether it's a drone or a helicopter is actually important because that indicates if it's a helicopter, you have potentially people in harm's way, these paramilitary cartel organizations.
Well, it didn't look like that was a very dangerous dinghy.
No, but you can see how that becomes, that spirals really quickly into a protracted conflict in our hemisphere. And it doesn't really behoove anyone, least of all the people of these countries, to have such robust paramilitary organizations running so much of the land in their countries. Like the war that's happening right now in Sinaloa is like that's land that is out of control of the Mexican government, and it's not that far from the American border. This doesn't absolve the U.S. of any of its role in helping fuel the rise of some of these groups. One of the least discussed things ever is basically that because of the Biden administration's immigration policy, every single person who crossed the border under Biden was ka-ching, like money in the cartel's pockets. And so they've exploded in terms of their tech capabilities, not just because of that, also because of fentanyl and other things, but they've exploded in their capabilities. And they now do have some, they have more drone capacity, all of that stuff. And it's not just hawkish warmongering to say that. They're just like actually pretty well-funded, advanced paramilitary organizations that now run swaths of their respective countries. And so to then be doing questionable or operations with questionable legitimacy, I mean, we'll take a look at the evidence, but given our track record in the Middle East, I'm not optimistic that this will come out looking like it was fully constitutional legal use of force. Then you are genuinely risking what seems like the Trump administration wants, which is some type of all-out military conflict with these paramilitary groups, which will mean that Americans die.
Right, and 11 people were killed yesterday on this fishing boat or whatever it was. And here's Trump with A6 announcing this attack.
When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat, and you'll be seeing that. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time, and these came out of Venezuela.
There's more where that came from. Yes, there is more drugs where that came from. You think you're going to blow up every boat that might have drugs on it? Like, I don't even want to acknowledge, maybe it did. I don't even want to acknowledge that without some type of evidence. Like, there's plenty of fishing going on in the Caribbean.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are also people who have followed this have already said it's a very small craft, and there's been some debate about people in that space, like former agents, guys like Yoan Grillo, who've covered this really closely, as to whether or not that boat, from what we know now, looks like something that would be engaged in mass trafficking. Some people say you see the waterproof bags in the middle of it. I think that's hard to see, but we'll obviously learn more, at least from our government's perspective. But very interestingly, in the aftermath of the strike, Maduro, I don't know if you saw this, Ryan, because you'll have interesting thoughts on this. Maduro tried to drive a wedge between Rubio and Trump by saying Marco Rubio, who obviously has supported Juan Guaido and other opponents of Maduro, has been a vicious enemy of Maduro for a long time, saying Marco Rubio is trying to draw you into a war with the people of Venezuela. But I'm confident, that there's a way that we can work with Donald Trump, et cetera. That's what Maduro said afterwards. It was a pretty interesting attack.
No, I think it's smart by Maduro because I think it's true. I think Rubio is taking the opportunity that he sees.
Yes.
Like, he's boxed out of a lot of the rest of the world, but the thing that he really cares about is fighting the left in the Caribbean and Latin America, and he's just being allowed to do it.
Stop on that point, because notice, I think Trump is absolutely itching for a conflict with cartels that he can...
But Mexican cartels.
Not communists.
And Rubio's like, how about we go after Venezuela?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think Trump is absolutely itching for a war with cartels, which is not like... I think it's really emotional for people who have lost family members to fentanyl, which is just staggering number of Americans who do want to see some justice and want to see action, and I absolutely understand that. I think we've learned, after 9/11, for example, that it's very easy after deep tragedy to be sort of swayed in one direction or another by politicians who say they have our best interests and are pursuing justice at hand. So there's that. But the Mexican cartels, Trump, I think, is particularly eager because he feels like they're fairly easy to crush. And I think he's eager to have videos of those cartels getting lit up. But your point, I think, is important, which is that Marco Rubio, who's actually on a sort of swing of Latin America, this happened literally right before he was going on his trip. Marco Rubio, isn't it interesting, is going after the first strike is on
Venezuela. How about that?
The communists.
Maybe he'll find some Cuban drug traffickers next.
That probably is coming.
Yeah.
That probably is coming.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.